This is Campus and Community, a program that relates the Christian college campus to the community in which we live. For the next 30 minutes, enjoy Campus and Community. This program is a presentation of Milligan College in Johnson City, Tennessee. Milligan is an institution of higher education dedicated to Christ and to Christian ideals. Milligan College is located in the heart of the Tri-Cities.
Good evening, and welcome to Derthick Theater. We are on the set of Milligan's spring production, On the Verge. In tonight's show, we'll take you behind the scenes and show you the entire process from auditions to final dress rehearsal. Please join us now as Dick Major, the director of this spring production, begins our show.
I first encountered this play in 1987 when our production of Children of a Lesser God was accepted by the American College Theater Festival to participate in the regional finals. One of our competitors, Auburn University, was going to be producing the play On the Verge, or The Geography of Yearning. So in order to know something about the competition, I decided to order a script and to read the script, and became rather excited about this particular piece of theater, mainly because it showcased the talent of women. As I knew that I would be graduating a lot of our male talent in the spring of 1988, I was looking for either the fall of '88 or the spring of '89, a show that would showcase women and their talent, because I have an abundance of it here on the Milligan College campus. After looking at several different plays, I decided that On the Verge was still a play that I would really like to do. So that's how I originally came in contact with the play. As we went into the auditions for the play, I suddenly realized that I could cast this thing at least 4 different ways and be happy, really, with any of the versions. We had at least 12 women that could easily play the 3 female roles. And so it was just a really, I think, terrific audition process, and really reminded me of how good the talent is here. The cast that we went with will feature Karen Gurley in the role of Alexandra, Sarah Hasty in the role of Fanny, and Christina Schaefer in the role of Mary. The one male role is played by Jeremy Van Meter. The set design for the show is by Dennis Wyatt, and the costumes are designed by Karen Brewster.
Alex is wonderful. Of course, I'm a little bit prejudiced, but Alex is the youngest of the 3 women who are traveling through time, Victorian women, and she's the most modern of the 3. She's allowed to be the most unladylike of the 3, which is a good thing for me, running around in skirts and corsets and boots. And Alex is very energetic. She's in her late teens, and she's full of boundless energy, and she never stops moving, and she's jumping up and down and running around exploring, and she's very excited about exploring. But every now and then she gets a little whiny, and that's the bad part about her. She complains a lot when things don't go exactly right. And Alex aspires to be a rock lyricist, and at the end of the play she finds a job with the Troll as a rock lyricist, and she ends up staying in 1955.
Fanny is a lot like me. She's very romantic. She's very conservative. I'd say she's probably the most Victorian of all 3. She likes the role of a woman. She likes being a lady, but at the same time she's very much her own person, and she's very adventurous, and that's why she's out trekking with the other women. Fanny is tied to home. She's the only one who's married, and they all keep a journal, and Fanny writes her journal to her husband, sort of as an ongoing letter. And she is tied to the past, and that makes her different, especially when they start to time travel, different from the other women. Fanny's a lot of fun. She's very energetic, and it's a different kind of energy from what the other women have. Kind of a silly energy. She's a lot of fun. Very special.
Mary Baltimore is the oldest one. She's 35 years old. She's very experienced with what she's done, but at the same time, she's still learning, and she's learning from the other two. Fanny and Alex both teach her as she goes along, and she takes the advice, and in that way I respect her, because she doesn't just take things upon herself. She has been the solo sojourner, as it were, for her years before, and this is the first time that she's taken to be with other people. And she doesn't try to take control, and she doesn't play her experience off very many times, but she enjoys what she's doing, genuinely, and she enjoys the other two people, too.
Okay, basically what my character is it's a view of man through the future, through the walk of future. There are many extreme cases I have to go through in playing this character. In one case, I am an abominable snowman, a lot of screaming, a lot of animal actions. Another case, I am a troll, sort of 50s Fonzie type character who is guarding a bridge across a huge ravine. Then I'm just a basic Midwest broker, and that's probably the easiest role because it's not really extreme. You just, all I have to do is just act in that part. Probably the hardest role I have found in this play is a German cannibal. It's right down to the accent, the syntax, uniform. It's a very hard role to play because I'm not German. I've had no contact with any Germans. So basically what I had to do was just learn the accent, the dialect, and basically psyching myself up for this role will be a very long process, becoming one person after another, but making them all different, yet tying them all together to be one view of man through a walk through future.
Yeah, the vocabulary is incredible in this play, and it's really been improving mine, I think. It's really neat to learn new words, but a lot of them I've had to look up, and I'm still not completely familiar with everything and am not able to speak the words as though they're part of my everyday vocabulary. Still working on that.
The language is, well, the first time I read it, I had to sit there with a dictionary to figure out what some of these words were and how to pronounce them. And I still have trouble with the words because the vocabulary is a little punch, a little upgraded, and it's kind of stuffy, but it's funny because we all sit there and use these words, and especially Fanny, because she's Miss Grammar fanatic. And I've often wondered if the other girls would want to carry a dictionary with them, because Alex is continually asking what the words are. What's this mean? I don't know what this means. So it's really funny in that the language is so stuffy, but they're not even sure about it either.
Is that Using particular words within a context of a sentence and so forth, a spoken word, sometimes we can understand words without really knowing what they mean. And I think the same is true with this play. You don't necessarily have to bring a dictionary, but it really will be a quiz of your knowledge of words and language. And you might need to poke a friend and say, what was that word? I kind of missed that one. Or I think what most people will say will be more to the effect, what delicious use of the language and delicious use of words. Because in contemporary society, really what we do, we do not think much about what we say. As one of the characters in the play says, she says, I've seen the future, and it is slang. And I think that is a marvelous remark about contemporary use of language. We don't think much about what we say. We don't use very many words. Our vocabularies we don't use them much, all right? And I think that is part of what this play is saying. It's saying that in the year 1888, people talked a different way, educated people talked a different way. They used words and had a great time using the words. And now in our contemporary society, we use a lot of slang.
The costumes are great. The first time we put them on, I was convinced I could have lived back then because it just felt so comfortable. But at the same time, it was very uncomfortable because we're strapped into corsets. And it gets kind of funny to see the three of us back there stringing each other up with the strings hanging in our mouth, trying to get them all tight. But they're beautiful costumes. They really are. They're uncomfortable at first, and then you get used to them and you don't realize how uncomfortable you are until you take them off. To get psyched up, I'd say it's just a matter of putting the corset on, because once that goes on, you just, okay, we're in character now, we're ready.
With the strange props we have, with the corset and the long dress, and the things we do, and the trekking hats we have, the umbrellas, and all the accessories, it does put you in character. She's exactly right. It's strange when you first get in it. You see your Victorianness, as it were, and then you have these hats on and these wild umbrellas, and you're out trekking through swamp and through rivers and through seeing the mountains, and it does put you in character once you get it and you set your mind toward it. And when you see everyone else doing the same thing, it's easy to fit right in.
Into the Victorian time, it really helps me to be in the costume and to be in the corset, which keeps my posture in the right place, and just to be using the props that we're using in the costumes. And we've looked at a lot of books and seen how exactly they stand and how exactly they move, and that's the most thing that has to come across as Victorian. But other than that, Alex is so much of me. It's more of a revealing process than it is an acting process.
The only elaborate costuming will probably be the German. I'll be in full uniform from head to toe. One time during the play, I become a gypsy fortune teller, an Asian fortune teller. I have no idea what that costuming will be. I haven't even seen anything of my costuming. I'm sure it will be a fun process, though.
I look up to Mary. I'd like to be like her, not because she's overly wise, but I'd like to use that experience of learning from others, because there's so much you can never know it all, and to learn from the other people. I think in all our working together, just making new friends in the play, because the cast is great, you do that too personally, so it all comes together in the play and between the people.
It is rough, but at the same time it's kind of fun because you get to act out parts of you that no one will ever see, that you know are there. You can portray them on stage because it is all a part. It's all wrapped up in one.
But I decided, I originally thought that perhaps I could go with 7 different men playing the various roles in the show. But once I had the auditions, it occurred to me that really the role of the man represented all of maledom, that the one man needed to represent man through the ages. And I thought really to do that with 7 different men would only confuse the issue, and that we really needed to go with one person. We had at least 4 men that I could have gone with and felt very good about any one of those choices. However, I just felt that Jeremy was the best choice. Because of the variety of the roles, I knew that he had a certain amount of versatility, and he's built a track record with us now, and so I really felt this was a good play for him to be doing right now. So that's why we went with Jeremy.
That is one thing that Dick Major has impressed upon me very much, that I have to make these different in vocal use and carriage of my body, but I also have to tie them together. And I really haven't found out what he means by that, but it's just something that the audience will see, that I'm someone else, but that I'm not, that I am just a view of man, of the entire race of man.
Well, my character definitely finds the troll to be the most exciting because he speaks in rhyme, and Alex is fascinated with rhyme because she wants to be a lyricist. And later, as I said, she joins up with the troll to be a lyricist. But Alex is very much a man lover. I mean, she's fascinated by the men that she meets, whereas Mary thinks men are worthless, basically, and Fanny at least puts on a pretense of being a little, you know, keep your distance. Alex loves them, and she's just fascinated by all the men she meets. And the troll captures her heart immediately, and the troll tells her that she's the one he's interested in, and she just is drooling for him, basically.
We work together when it comes time, when there's problems. But we're very independent, and we know when things go wrong and when we can work together and when we can go our separate ways, and that seems to work out. Mary has very many opposites. She's very content the way she is. She's not upset with the way life is, but she was curious and she wants to go on and do more. She's happy without a man, and she's not looking, but she's not a man basher, as it were. So she's happily content in between things and always learning new things as she goes.
Very significant. The play was written in 1985, taking very much into consideration what has happened in the 60s, in the 70s, and now in the 80s, of a move toward careers, not only for men, but also for women. And I think that is one of the stronger statements of the play. The play is written by a man, but I think what he is seeing, as I am seeing, is that women are coming of age. And men that have a problem with taking orders, perhaps, or taking any kind of commands or so forth in the workplace from women, you know, look out, because the wave of the future is going to be women in positions of power. And that just seems to be where we're going, where we are now, really, in many cases.
Yeah, as Alex would say, and I would probably agree, life would be a lot less interesting without men. But I think women could handle it themselves. Of course, they die out pretty quickly, but I think I would be like Alex and look forward to meeting up with the new men.
It uses a lot of theatrical conventions. The set is what we would call a working or a mechanical set, and through the course of the play it becomes several different locales. The play really takes place in terra incognita, but we go through all kinds of things. We go through jungles, we go through swamps, we go through climbing a cliff face. We end up at one point in a little grill, Nikki's Paradise Grill, and we just travel through a continuum of space and time, history and geography, and of fashion and feminism.
I have to remember that I'm wearing an ankle-length skirt at all times, especially when I'm running up and down steps and walking across narrow ramps. And there's one part of the play where we're walking across the bridge and we're supposed to be constantly moving around and having a difficult time of it. And that's the easiest part for me to do because I don't have to pretend I'm having a difficult time of it. But yeah, movement is difficult at times, especially when we have blackouts and need to move into another position and we can't really see where we are. So.
The play begins in 1888. We work through to about 1972 or so, but then two of the women fall in love with 1955, and that's where they end up staying, is smack dab in the middle of 1955. So.
Because in some ways I am a feminist, but these are feminists from that time, and they seem to have a lot more freedom than I would think women at that time would have. They're adventurers and they're allowed to go out on their own. I think I could be comfortable, obviously not as comfortable as I am right now, living in the 1980s.
If I could be doing the things like I do in this play, I would love to afford out new places for women, doing new things but still fit in and be feminine.
I've compared it 2 or 3 times for my cast members to the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy, and by that I would mean that it connects in that sense much in the same way that the Coke bottle worked for this Aboriginal tribe. These women encounter all kinds of things traveling through this continuum of space and time. And they encounter all kinds of things that they don't know anything about. Of course, the audience knows everything about these things. And that is really what makes it work as a play, because the audience is clued into certain things, and the actor, their challenges require not knowing, discovering what these things are and what they might be used for. So in that respect, I think there is a lot of humor in the play that goes back and forth. There are all kinds of malapropisms and so forth. And so it's a play about language. So English majors, teachers, people that just enjoy good theater, I think will have a good time with this.
Probably the hardest is either going to be the German or the Asian fortune teller. I've had a really hard time trying to come up with an accent for the fortune teller. It's supposed to be a combination of French and Asian in the accent. So I've been looking everywhere for people to help me with that. So that'd probably be the hardest one.
Well, there are a few things I have to work on. Like, for instance, Alex is the only character in the play who has to sing, and I'm the only cast member who has not had extensive voice lessons and cannot sing, so that's a challenge for me. And it's a little bit of a challenge for me to be an airhead. She's a space cadet. She doesn't quite know what's going on. And when Alex encounters the cannibal, Mary and Fanny have figured out that this is a cannibal about 5 minutes before Alex decides, oh, this is a cannibal we're talking to. And she uses the wrong words all the time. She'll say, I'm delicious, when she means delirious. And so she's a little spacey, which I don't myself think I am, but maybe I am. So that's a challenge.
I would like to say that we open on March 15th, which is a Wednesday evening. The curtain each night will be at 8 o'clock. All seats are $3. And to help accommodate those people that might be busy through the week, we will be having a matinee on Saturday, March the 18th, and that matinee will begin at 2 p.m. It is a show I think that anyone, particularly women, I think would find very entertaining because it does deal with feminist issues and that women are equal to men in many things. And I would certainly encourage a male audience to come too. But it really is a show, I think, for a thinking adult. And that's what I really like about this piece of drama. It presupposes that you are somewhat intelligent and that you have a good grasp of certain things in the world. And I don't know, I think you'll find it immensely entertaining.
Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a fine production. We encourage you to come and take that step and begin your trek on the Verge.